Welcome to the BeDoKnit podcast. My name is Amy, and this is my podcast where I talk about my knitting. It is September 14th, Sunday, September 14th, and it is really hot in Minnesota. I tried to record this outside, and it was way too hot. So I'm in here, inside, but I'm on the first floor of our house because it was absolutely too hot to be upstairs. So I think it must be 90 degrees, I think it is. 90, 95, maybe even. I'm not totally sure. And I don't think I have my phone, but I'm pretty sure it got up to the upper 80s or 90s. So, wow, it's hot for this time of year. And we had a bit of a cold snap in Minnesota at the beginning of September. So it's kind of nice that it warmed up like this, but it's also very surprising and it's a little hard to enjoy it outside when it's, so sweltering. So this morning was an interesting day. I went to the Keepsake Cidery Fiber Fest. There's, I think in Northfield, Minnesota, this weekend, there was fiber celebrations, like a fiber festival. Again, in a couple of weeks, there will be another fiber festival at Harvest Hill Acres. So Harvest Hill Acres is the farm that produced the yarn that I used for my book club cardigan and where I met Flynn the sheep. Diana and Dean are the owners, and they are lovely people. I talked to Dean. He helped wrangle Flynn and bring her over to the fence where I was standing so I could meet her. And Diana has been at Shepherd's Harvest Sheep and Wool Festival every year, and I've purchased yarn from her a bunch of times. So anyway, it was great to see her. It was great to go to the Keepsake Cidery and just see what's going on there. I really want to go back and bring a friend and go out to lunch. And they had this really cute chalkboard flight of ciders that you could try. It was so cool. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to that sometime. And yeah, it was just fun. I had to go and pick up a skein of yarn from Diana, but I'm looking forward to going back and kind of spending the day there at some point. But today I have a refreshed FO, and then I have 2 WIPS to share with you. So I am going to Rhinebeck, and I have a couple of WIPS that are very specifically in preparation for Rhinebeck. So I will get to that in a little bit, but we will start with the FO. Oh, and just so you know, I'm sitting downstairs in my dining room, and this is art from a French artist named Laura Brunelier. And she and my husband did an artist residency together with, I think there were 13 artists, maybe 9 to 13, back in 2013 on Captiva Island. And so she did this work while they were at Captiva Island. And they were staying on Robert Rauschenberg's estate. And so there were different kind of accommodations for the artists, and my husband stayed in a house with Laura, her husband, and himself. So they had this little house to themselves, and then there was like the bigger house where they would go and meet with the other artists, and there was an artist studio in there. So anyway, this is a gorgeous piece, and this is part of a triptych. But this particular panel, this woman smiling, it's an Egyptian woman. Apparently it's like the first photographed evidence of a human smiling. So I just love it so much. So anyway, that's what that is, if you're wondering, behind me. And yeah, my husband is an artist, and yeah, he had a great time rooming with those two. And we wound up buying this triptych that she created while they were there. Just really special. So anyway, I will start with my FO. So this is my No Frills sweater. It is made with Cardiff cashmere, and I made it last year, and actually it was this time of year when I bound it off the first time. And if you've been here a while, you will notice that something is different about it. I made sleeves that were elbow length, and now I've added some length to the sleeves. And I am very happy with it. I really like that elbow length, but there was something about it was hitting right at my elbow, so I either needed to like move it up or create longer sleeves. And I think this cashmere sweater, it's the type of thing I think that you would want to wear in the winter when it's really hot or when it's really cold outside, because the cashmere makes me really hot. And so, yeah, I just think it'll be good to have the long sleeves, and then I can really use it in the dead of winter when it's just super cold out. So anyway, I, just did some knit surgery. I cut the sleeves off, and then I added length, and I think I did a little bit longer rib on the cuff than maybe was recommended. But I think it kind of matches the length of the hem. It might be a little, maybe a couple of centimeters or something longer than the hem ribbing on those sleeves. But I love it, and it is perfect now. It's a year later, and I had the extra yarn because I intended to make it with long sleeves in the beginning, and then I thought after I made Gina's Anders tee that I really liked that length, but now I have my Cumulus tee that's that length, and it's perfect, and that's much more reasonable in terms of it being maybe like a spring, summer, fall knit, and this one is very much a winter knit with that cashmere. So makes sense to have the long sleeves. So I'm happy about that. And then I wonder if I have the card. When I was at that festival today, I don't think this is it. I grabbed a card. I could swear I grabbed a card, but no, that's not it either. I bought this cup at the festival today, and I just love it. My husband's going to kill me for buying another cup because we have so many pottery dishes, especially mugs in the cupboard, and he's just going to be like, what, are you even kidding me? And P.S., if my mother-in-law is watching this, I'm so sorry. I only had 1 hour to scoot down to Dundas and, whoops, I spilled coffee, and buy the skein of yarn and just whip around and come back to the city, because she lives in Faribault, and that's like one town away, so she's probably thinking, why didn't you tell me you were coming? But it was going to be so fast, so I did not reach out. But we should definitely go there for lunch with my husband's mom, because that is just the most adorable little scene out there with sunflowers and cornfields and a little place where you can grab lunch and sit outside at picnic tables. Like I said, the little flight of ciders, and there was a barn with all these fiber artists and other artisans. So this little mug, so cute. I'll have to figure out where this came from, and I'll put it in the show notes, but I love it so much. I put some ice in this coffee because it's so hot.
thing, when I was down at the cidery today and at that fiber festival, I was introduced and discovered this new yarn. It is so gorgeous. This yarn is milled and dyed. It is called Badger Face Fiber at Get Bentz Farm, and it's in Northfield, Minnesota. And this colorway is called Unicorn. Cute name. Unicorn Freckles. And look at that yarn. Isn't that pretty? I just think this thing is so gorgeous. It kind of reminds me of Noro. And so I'm pretty excited to use this. It's Aran weight. Does anyone have an idea for an Aran weight? I want to make a cardigan. I'm kind of just into cardigans now. I could make a sweater. We'll see. But I feel like I wear cardigans more because I tend to get hot. And so I just kind of like to go for cardigans these days. But aren't these cute together? This cup and this yarn. This yarn is just like full of turquoise and cream speckles and lots of different other colors. So pretty. Yeah, it reminds me of Noro. I don't know the weight of Noro, but Cloud, no. Cloud has a tissue in his mouth and he's going to just like, come on, I better go get him. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you, and TBD what this is going to become. I have 4 skeins of it and it's Aran weight, and I could use like a US 10 on this thing. And these lovely ladies, I'll pop up their pic, are a part of this company that produces this yarn and dyes the yarn.
All right. So moving right along, like I said, I am going to Rhinebeck, and I could not be more excited. I am wondering if any of you are going to Rhinebeck. You should tell me in the show notes. I'm Fiber MacGyver, Susie from Fiber MacGyver asked, do you want to have a meetup with some of your subscribers from your podcast behind her booth, like during Rhinebeck? And I don't know, like, are any of you interested in that? So I was thinking I would just walk around, and if people organically wanted to just come and say hi, we could do that. But let me know what you think. Do you want to meet up and have a designated time and a place? Another thing is that I have something to give away. I bought 2 tickets to a woolen affair for Friday, not the Thursday party. I think there was a special event ticket for Thursday night, but on Friday there is, I think it's just like a market from maybe 10 to 6 or something like that. I have an extra ticket and I will give it away to someone. So, you know, just put Rhinebeck in the notes below. If you're going to go to Rhinebeck and you would like that ticket, let me know and I will transfer it to you. I'll have a giveaway for that. So all you have to do is mention Rhinebeck in a comment below and I will do a drawing. That's pretty fun. So, and then maybe I'll see you there. All right, so the 2 WIPs that I have going that I am making specifically for Rhinebeck, because I want to get a picture and meet Andrea Mowry. And so last year she had the framed sweater, and I absolutely love that pattern. This year she put out the Ooey Gooey sweater. It's a, colorwork yoke. And last year's was a drop shoulder colorwork sweater. And I just love the framed sweater. So I don't even know what the rules are for meeting up with Andrea on the hill. Do you have to be making the sweater for this year only to be able to stand in line and get a photo with her? And, do you have to be a part of the make-along? Well, I don't know. But if you know, let me know. I'm just kind of curious about that. But I started this now twice. I didn't restart the hem. So this is my framed sweater, the start of my framed sweater. And yeah, this is how far I've gotten. It's this really cool kind of, I don't know what you'd call this, folk art. It's kind of like quilt squares, but it's knitted. So yeah, and you use spin cycle yarn. It's color changing yarn, and then a background color. And the reason I went to that cidery today to go to the fiber market in the barn was because I needed to meet up with Diana and get another skein. Because when I was down there last time, it was the end of May, I purchased a sweater's quantity of this brown color yarn, but then I only picked up 2 skeins of this yarn, and it was she does this thing where she does combinations of her sheep, and then she'll use their names as the name of the yarn. So this one was like Piglet and Angel. Those 2 fibers intermingled to make up this colorway of yarn. And it's kind of like an oatmeal-y type colorway. Yeah. So this is Piglet and Angel. And I texted her and I was like, do you happen to have any more Piglet and Angel? Because I need 50 yards more than what I have. So she said, I think I do. And she was going to like look around at her house and try to figure it out. So, and then I was going to go down and buy it. So she couldn't find Piglet and Angel, that combination, but she had some yarn from Angel. So it's probably hard to see but this is Piglet and Angel, and this is Angel. So I don't think you're going to be able to tell. It's probably hard in this lighting to even see. I think Angel is a little bit lighter. Piglet brought in some of that oatmeal, I think. But how cool that you know the sheep's names. That's how I got to meet Flynn when I used Flynn's yarn. So I got to meet her. So now if I do this, and I am doing it, I can go down there and meet at a knit night, maybe meet Piglet and Angel. We'll see. Yeah. And this time I will wear sensible shoes and maybe I can go out in the pasture. I don't know if that's possible, Diana. You can tell me next time I see you. But, yeah, so I'm using this and it's held with Salty Dog from Spin Cycle. And also, I just started using another colorway. Where is it? Which I think Andrea Mowry used in her framed sweater, which is Shades of Earth. But anyway, so that's what's going on. And I think, just so you know what I'm going to be doing here, so this colorway here, the blue color at the hem, and it will also be on the shoulders, because it's like the shoulders and the hem color are dark, and they frame this kind of motif in the middle. So that's why it's called the framed sweater, I think. This is Jamison's Shetland Spindrift, and I've used this before in my Marie Wallen sweater. And the color of this is 677 Stonewash. So if you like this color and you want to get something similar. This is a great grippy, toothy sort of colorwork yarn. And originally I was using this Rowan Pure Wool Superwash Worsted. Comes in 100-gram balls. And when I was doing it, it just felt a little too bright. And, oh God, I could see one of those centipede things going up the wall over there. You know what? They eat spiders, so go for it. Stay. but just I'd rather not see you. This just felt a little bit too bright, and so I switched it up. I had the two skeins of the Piglet and Angel Wild Barn yarn. And what is this one? I think it's like 200 yards. It's 250 yards. And I needed 550. So I had 500 and I just needed that 50 extra yards. So anyway, so it won't be too much of the new color, and it'll be maybe towards the top. So yeah, or maybe I'll put it on the sleeves. Maybe it'll be on the sleeves and you won't really be able to tell. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So yeah, I think it's gonna be just fine. And I'm really excited. This blue color is a color that I have a dress in this color. So I think that'd be really cute, where it's like a tank dress and then wear that underneath, have the sweater over it with maybe some leggings and boots, and I got my Rhinebeck outfit. So you guys are gonna have to tell me, can you meet on the hill if you didn't make this year's sweater? You made last year's Andrea Mowry sweater? Is that a thing? If not, I have a workaround. So that is my next whip, because Andrea put out the Ooey Gooey sweater. That's the Rhinebeck sweater, the official Rhinebeck sweater, but then she also did an Ooey Gooey cowl. So the Ooey Gooey cowl, it uses 2 strands of Surrey and then Dreams tape in Spin Cycle color changing yarn. So again, I'm using Salty Dog because it's kind of this like mustardy color. And then I am using my Fiber MacGyver Surrey. I purchased this yarn to make a shawl. And if I want to make that shawl, I can just buy a couple more skeins of this Surrey. But I'm going to use this Surrey. And I am going to make, not you Siri, I said Surrey, not Siri. Unbelievable. So yeah, here is the beginning of my Ooey Gooey cowl. So you make this tube, and then it was a provisional cast on. So then at the end, you can take off this waste yarn and then join the tube with the other side, and then it's a nice little cowl. So that's my workaround. If you have to have made and be a part of the Ooey Gooey make along or knit along, then I'm covered because I have the Ooey Gooey cowl. Here's the beginning. So I just think that color of the Surrey is so pretty with that mustard. Oh my gosh. I thought about using more of like a Spin Cycle color changing yarn that had like purples and pinks and like that with this blue, but I'm glad. I think the mustard color is gonna look, the Salty Dog will look really pretty. This is almost like a mint green sea glass. I don't even know, but I think that'll be really pretty. And I'll pop up an image of what this cowl is all about. And what it looks like when it's finished. So yeah, I'm super excited. So it's been quite a month. I went up to Bayfield and stayed with my parents for a weekend, over Labor Day weekend. And yeah, I also did a little bit of work. As you know, I'm working on a design right now. And I showed you this last time, but this is not what the sweater is really gonna look like. I was just kind of swatching to see what some of the stitches look like. And I think I might, well, I won't even say what I'm gonna go with. I'll just start making it and then share it with you next time. But I did a swatch, another swatch, because I needed to as part of my Sister Mountain class. I did a plain stockinette, and then I did a waffle stitch. And then up here, it looks like brioche, but it's actually fisherman's rib. So you guys tell me, do you like this fisherman's rib, the waffle stitch, and this is for a cardigan, plain stockinette, or garter rib? Or these pyramid shapes. I really like these too. Yeah, what do you think? There's also this stitch, which I really like. It's more like lace. So, I don't know. What do you think? What would you want to wear in a cardigan? I mean, I like a few of these, but you know, making that decision, I want it to appeal to, you know, knitters who want to make it. So, yeah, it's a bit of a drapey yarn. It's got alpaca. It's merino and alpaca, so there's some drape for sure. Yeah, what do you think? Put it in the comments below if you don't mind. Yeah, and so I'm going to keep going on that. Got my 2 WIPs for Rhinebeck, and I have quite a few other WIPs, but those are the ones that I'm going to be focusing on. And I really wanted to make that cardigan with the Surifina alpaca before going to Applefest, and I am going to Applefest too. So the first week of October I'm going to Applefest, the third week of October I'm going to Rhinebeck, and it's going to be a busy month, but it'll be really fun. And then maybe at the end of September going to that Harvest Hill Acres Fiber Festival. If you guys are interested, it's the Harvest Fiber Festival at Harvest Hill Acres. There will be vendors, kid crafts, llama walks, and food trucks. But maybe it's trying to focus on that lady's face. There we go. So yeah, that is the flyer. Yeah, and then let me know if you're going to Rhinebeck, because I have that ticket to give away, as you know. Yeah. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to, I'm going to land at LGA, I'll spend a night in Brooklyn, and then maybe go to the Brooklyn General Store, although I don't know if they're even open, because they're probably involved in all these. I bet they're open for Rhinebeck weekend. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go to the Intrepid Museum, which is, my dad was in the Vietnam War, and he flew A4s, and the carrier that the airplanes landed on out in the ocean is now docked in New York City. It's called the Intrepid, and there's an Intrepid Museum, and apparently my dad, there's a mural of my dad. I've seen it. I've seen a picture. Somebody was in New York that I went to high school with, and they were at the museum, and they were like, "Is this your dad?" I was like, "What?" And anyway, it's these 4 pilots standing together in this mural, and one of them is my dad. And so I really want to see that and just see, like, what was it like to live on this ship and be on the ship. You know, I'm not a big war person, but, you know, it's part of my dad's life and his history before I was even born. So I would love to see that, and like, where did he bunk, and what was this ship, like, what did it look like, what does the landing pad look like, you know, I just think it'd be really interesting. So I'm going to go do that, and then on Friday I will drive up to Mount Kisco, New York, and go to Pick Up Every Stitch. I've been checking the website to see if there's an event going on that weekend, and I think on Friday is when they have like a, I think it's like from 10 to 2 or 10 to 6. I don't know. But I'm going to go there, and then I'll make my way up and go to the place where I'm going to stay. And then the next day, I'm going to go to India Untangled, Cake Palooza, a Woolen Affair, and then it's Rhinebeck that weekend. So it's going to be pretty cool. I'm so excited. So that is something to look forward to. And then really sad, but one of my best girlfriends that I went to Mexico with in April, and we've been, really good friends for many, many years. Her daughter was in the church in Minneapolis at Annunciation School when the shooter, she experienced and heard and saw and was a part of that school shooting. And so it's been a rough month actually. And that day I was at work and somebody, just a friend on Facebook and a friend she said, hey, did I just see so-and-so on the news? And I just couldn't believe it. And I went into my boss's office and the tears just started flowing. And I texted her and I said, is she safe? And she was at home at that point. But that moment of not knowing, and, somebody got that call, somebody had that feeling, and that kid never made it home. And so I don't usually get political on this, but I just want to say something's got to change in this country. And I feel very disturbed that I would live somewhere where people valued owning an assault rifle over children. And you might say, it's not that, it's maybe one or the other, but so many kids have been killed with assault rifles in this country. And so it is the guns, maybe they would find them some other way, but we don't need to put guns easily in the hands of someone who is mentally ill or sick or who wants to kill children. It is very disturbing to me that is what's going on in this country. So, do give to organizations like Sandy Hook. I know they're working towards legislation and changing gun laws in this country. We have to do something. If anybody has ideas of what else we can do, I would love to hear it. But like I said, I don't really use this channel as a place to share my politics and my views. But knowing a child who had to hear and see that sort of violence was very, very upsetting and disturbing to me this month. Very much. So yeah, I don't even know what else to say about it. I don't know what to do. I feel super powerless, but giving to Sandy Hook was one thing I felt like I could do. If people are, boots on the ground going to protest, sign me up. But if there's anything else that you think, any ideas that you have of how to address it, yeah. So I know a couple years ago I made the emotional support chicken, and the day after the shooting I was like, I knew I wanted to go over to my friend's house and bring her flowers and bring her daughter. I had her daughter's birthday gift just sitting in my room, and I was just waiting to see her. And so I grabbed that and I grabbed the flowers and I saw that emotional support chicken and I was like, my girlfriend really loves stuffies. She always, when we were roommates, she always had a couple of stuffed animals. And I just brought it over there and I'm like, you guys, Yoko is here. She can be a visitor. She can be a part of your family, but she's with you now. So if you guys need to snuggle, if you need to squeeze something and get comfort somehow, this is your emotional support chicken for as long as you want. So Yoko has been well loved, and just my friends sent me photos of her at the desk and in various places in the house, and she told me she slept with her a couple nights, so that made me happy. But anyway, very, very tough situation. Yeah, and I just hate, some points in life you exchange innocence for experience. And I really wish that my friend's daughter didn't have to have this experience. But now it's a part of her, and it's a part of her experience. So anyway, I hope you're all well. I hope you have something wonderful on your needles, and I hope to see you at Rhinebeck. Be well, do good things, and I'll see you next time. Bye.